My name is Dr. Monica. I am working as assistant professor, as associate professor in Noida Institute of Engineering and Technology, which is affiliated to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University. As I am taking the subject that is known as pharmaceutical microbiology, having code BP 303T. So, in my previous lectures, lecture number 1, lecture number 2, lecture number 3, I have focused mainly on the history part of microbiology and what scientists have done before in the history. In the lecture 1, I told you about the discovery era. I discussed about the that is spontaneous generation theory. I discussed about the that is a germ theory of disease, and even in the last in the lecture number 2 I discussed about the what is going right now in the 21st century and what scientists are doing right now in this era. So, in my lecture number 3 I tried to cover the structure of bacteria. I told you about the structure of bacteria, how we can differentiate between prokaryotes, eukaryotes, and even I discussed about that is classification part, how we can classify our microorganisms into various classes. I discussed on the basis of morphology, I discussed on the basis of temperature conditions, how we can classify based on pH requirements, and how we can classify based on oxygen requirements. So, all these we covered in our previous lectures, that is lecture 1, 2 and 3. Today I am going to start with lecture number 4, and in this I will mainly focus on the nutrient media. What we are going to discuss in today's lecture is, first I will like to cover up that is nutrition requirements for cultivation of bacteria. First topic we will try to cover the what nutrients are required for the cultivation part. So, next topic which we are going to cover is how to prepare those nutrient broths and nutrient agar medium in the lab, how we can prepare these medias in the lab, what parameters we need to focus while we are preparing those medias in the lab. After that we will cover that is preparation of nutrient slant, nutrient slab and nutrient patchy plates, how we can prepare those medias, how we can prepare those slants, how we can prepare those stabs, how we can make the media so that we can grow our microorganisms in the lab. As well as I told you, as whole microbiology is related to 4 I's. So, we must be able to inoculate, we must be able to isolate, we must be able to identify the microorganisms. For that we require nutrients, we need nutrients to grow the microorganisms. So, what nutrients actually we need for the growth of microorganisms? In this we will mainly focus nutrients which are taken that are either macronutrients or they are micronutrients or they are growth factors. Now, what comes under macronutrients? Macronutrients are the nutrients which are the elements which are actually required in large amount, fairly large amount, so that microorganisms can grow, and that is the essential requirement for the microorganisms. Example, carbon source is always required for the growth of microorganisms, nitrogen source is always required, oxygen is always required, phosphorus, these are all macronutrients which are required in largely fairly large amounts. Micronutrients are the nutrients which are required but in very small amounts in these nutrients are required, like elements, metals, organic compounds. So, these are needed but needed in very small quantities like boron, chromium, cobalt, magnesium. These all ingredients are required in very small amount. After that we require the growth factors. Now, what are growth factors which are required for the growth of microorganisms, and what are those growth factors? Like vitamin B, we require various vitamins for the growth like B, K, C, as well as we can require folic acid for the growth, and amino acids, nicotinic acids. So, these all are required for the growth of microorganisms. We require macronutrients, we require micronutrients, we require growth factors for the growth. So, all these ingredients we need to add within the media. Until and unless these ingredients are not there, we won't be able to grow our microorganisms in the lab. So, that is why these all are essential requirements for the growth of microorganism, and we need to prepare them in the lab. After that, nutrient media, we can classify our nutrient media based on various categories also. Nutrient media, media which are prepared for microbial growth in the laboratory is called nutrient media, which we prepare in the lab so that we can grow microorganism. That media is actually known as nutrient media. Media can be classified. How we can classify that media? That is, first, physical state, second, we can also classify on the basis of chemical composition. Now, on the basis of physical state, how we can classify? They are either solid, they are either liquids, they are either semi-solids. So, we can classify on the physical state how they appear. So, they may be semi-solid, they may be solid, they may be liquid in nature, and based on chemical composition, we can classify them as synthetic media, complex media, or non-synthetic media. Now, what all these are? When we prepare our media, media can be semi-solid, media can be solid, media can be liquid, and the ingredients which we are adding, the chemical composition, we can also classify on the basis of chemical composition, the composition in which we are adding those ingredients, that may be that those ingredients, those chemical compositions may be synthetic, those chemical compositions may be complex. So, synthetic or chemically defined media, what do we mean by synthetic or chemically defined media? Nutrient media whose exact chemical composition is known, the media for which we know the actual composition of that media, that what ingredients we have added, whether we have added macronutrients, whether we have added micronutrients, whether we have added growth factors, whatever agents we have added, we must be knowing the quantity, we must be knowing the chemical composition, exact composition of those ingredients which are being added. And complex media are the medias in which exact composition of chemicals is not known. We don't know how the exact composition of the ingredients which are being added to that media. Then that media is known as complex media. That media we call as complex media, like beef extracts, like peptones. We don't know the exact composition, natural compounds which we are using, we don't know the exact composition, what ingredients are there within that composition. So, that is why those medias in which composition is not known, that medias are actually known as complex medias. After that, we have liquid medias, we have semi-solid medias, we have that is solid medias. Now, there are, when we have liquid media, that media is known as nutrient broth. When we prepare the media in the form of liquids, then the media which we generate in the lab is liquid in nature, then that media is known as nutrient broth. And when we add some of the agar, agar is an ingredient which we add to the composition of the media, and it solidifies the media, and if solid media is generated, that media is always known as nutrient agar. So, we have semi-solid media, we have liquid medias in nature, we have solid medias in nature. Liquid medias are generally used for the growth of microorganisms. Solid medias are generally used for the isolation purpose, so that we can isolate the pure cultures from that. And semi-solid medias are mainly used for checking the motility, how the microorganisms move, how the bacteria move within the preparation. For that, we always require semi-solid media. So, there are three kinds of medias on the basis of physical state. They may be liquid, they may be solid, they may be semi-solids. So, liquid for growth, solid for we use for isolation, and semi-solid we always use for checking the mainly motility of the bacteria. After that, we can classify them as selective media. Now, what we mean by selective media? Actually, in selective media, a special type of ingredients are always added, so that they can suppress, they can control the growth of certain type of microorganisms, but enhance the growth of few microorganisms. So, selective medias are the medias which are used to suppress the growth. They suppress the growth of unwanted bacteria, the bacteria which we don't want in the pure culture. Those the growth of those type of bacteria is suppressed by selective medias, and they will encourage the growth of desired microorganisms. Whatever desired microorganisms are there, for that they will encourage their growth. For example, that is Suberoides dextrose agar media. It has pH 5.6, it discourages the bacterial growth. but it encourages the growth of fungi. Fungi are mainly are grown in this suborid media because it will encourage the growth of fungi, but it will discourage the growth of bacteria. So, that is why this media is known as selective media. Similarly, we have brilliant agar media is one of the example, and brilliant agar media is contains a green dye which selectively inhibits the gram positive bacteria. As brilliant green agar media is a media which contains a dye which is green in color, and green dye is there that selectively inhibits the growth of gram positive, and we will be able to isolate the gram negative bacteria using those that is brilliant green agar media. So, for gram negative bacteria this kind of media is used, and it will act as a selective media as it is suppressing the growth of gram positive, but increasing the growth of gram negative bacteria like Salmonella. After that, we have differential medias in the lab. In the lab we can use differential medias, and differential medias are the type of medias which are used to distinguish the colonies that within the same Petri plate, within the same slide, as you can see in this is a Petri plate in which we are growing the microorganisms. We can see the colonies, different color colonies like this. These are blue color colonies, these are red colors or brown color colonies, these are red color colonies, yellow color colonies are there. Within the same media we have added such ingredients, we have added such agents which can differentiate between the colonies, between the types of microorganism. Suppose if we have gram positive bacteria, they will look blue in color, gram negative bacteria will look red in color. Within the same Petri plate we will be able to differentiate between the positive or negative gram positive, gram negative bacteria. We will be able to observe the difference between the species of microorganisms which are being grown, or with the colonies which are being generated within that that is Petri plate. So, that media which differentiate the colonies, which provide some color to the colonies, so that we will be able to differentiate, those type of medias are actually known as differential medias, which contains some kind of what we call as that is ingredients which can produce a color or which can generate a difference between the colonies. So, that media is actually known as differential media. Next one is enrichment media. Now, what we mean by enrichment media is that these medias are the medias which are enriched with some agents, means they are always enriched with some agents, so which will provide, which will help, which will support the growth of particular species. Particular species will be grown and in presence of those agents. Some agents are enhanced in that media, enriched, and that media is being enriched with some agents which will support the growth of particular species, which will not stop the growth of any of the other species, but it will support, it will enhance the growth of certain types of species. So, that media is called enrichment media. So, how we can differentiate between enrichment media and selective media? Unlike selective media, as selective media we saw, selective media was able to suppress the growth of other species, but in case of enrichment media we have added some of the enriched agents or agents which will support the growth, but it is not suppressing the growth of any of the other ingredients. We have not added any type of antibiotics, we have not added any type of agents which will suppress the growth of other species, but it will enhance enhance the growth of some certain type of species. After that, nutrient media, how we can generate those medias in the lab, so that we must be able to inoculate our microorganisms, we must be able to isolate pure cultures of microorganisms, we must be able to identify our species. So, we always require to prepare those media in the lab. Now, how we can prepare those media in the lab? First and foremost, media, the important media which is being used in the labs, in the microbiology labs, is the nutrient media. Nutrient media means there are two kinds of medias which are generally prepared in the lab. One is nutrient growth and second one is your nutrient that is agar medium. These are prepared in the lab and these are generally used for the growth of most of the bacteria. Now, how we can prepare those medias in the lab? First, we require a formula, we require the ingredients which need to be added to that preparation. Now, what are the ingredients which we need to add to the preparation to prepare that nutrient broth or nutrient agar medium? First, we require peptone. Now, what is peptone? Peptone mainly generally added in the concentration of 0.5%. Peptone is a mixture of equal parts of pancreatic digest of casein and peptic digest. It is a pancreatic digest of casein and peptic digest of animal tissues. It includes high content. In this, there is a high content of amino acids. It has small polypeptide agents. Peptone provides nitrogen, amino acids, vitamins. Lot of nutrients are being provided with the peptone, but it is a complex, it is complex in nature because the composition is not known. Peptone provides various ingredients, but composition of those ingredients is not known, that how much that is vitamins are there and how much nitrogen is there, how much amino acids are there. That is why it is comes under the complex. As well as we can add to our nutrient medias, that is what we call as beef extract, and beef extract or yeast extract are generally added in the concentration of 0.3%. Now, it contributes to minerals. Now, beef extract will provide, that is minerals, it will provide phosphate, it will provide energy sources and various essential factors like nucleic acids, fats, polysaccharides, which are not provided by peptone. So, they will enhance the nutritional level of the media. To enhance the nutritional level of media, we add generally the beef extracts and yeast extract to the media. After that, NaCl, as I told, if you remember my previous lectures, in that I told you about the halotolerants or non-halophiles or halophiles. So, those are the bacteria which grow in presence of salt. If there is no salt, that those type of bacteria will not grow. So, that is why we need to add some of the agents like sodium chloride even in the preparation. We need to add 0.5% NaCl. Now, presence of sodium chloride, it will provide the osmotic pressure, it will provide that is, it will make the bacteria which are halotolerant and the bacteria which are halophiles, which can't grow in absence of sodium chloride, which can't grow in the absence of salt, are then will only grow in the presence of NaCl. So, that must be added to the preparation if we are trying to grow our halotolerants or halophiles. After that comes the distilled water. Now, why we add distilled water? Distilled water is the main ingredient or is essential for the growth and reproduction of microorganism. If we do not have water, microorganisms will not grow. If you must be knowing that we need to have humidity, we need to have humidity conditions, we need to have water, only then the microorganisms grow. So, it provide essential, it is an essential growth factor, or it helps in growth as well as in reproduction of microorganisms. And also it provides the medium through which various nutrients can transport. Various nutrients will be transported to the bacteria, will be bacterial cells only through the distilled water. So, that is why this is the essential requirement of any of the media. In almost all medias we need to add distilled water. After that, we also need to add pH adjusting agents. Now, what is the role of pH adjusting agents? As I told about in my classification part, that microorganisms grow in presence of some of the bacteria are neutrophiles, some of the bacteria are acidophiles, some of the bacteria are basophiles, or they will grow if the pH is adjusted to their need. So, that is why pH adjusting agents are needed to be added to the media. Until and unless we will not add the pH adjusting agents, those bacteria will not have those conditions in which they can grow. So, that is why always we need to add those pH adjusting agents which are added to adjust the pH to neutral. Sometime if we want to grow neutrophiles, then we need to have pH 7.4. If we want to grow acidophiles, we need to have pH that is below 7.4, generally in the range of 0 to 3 we require. And if we want to grow basophiles, then we will be requiring the pH that is more than 7.54, that is 14, more than 7.5, in the range of 8 to 14 we can adjust. After that we need to add now agar. What is agar? Agar is actually the solidifying agent which is added to the preparation, which will solidify the media. Liquid medias are important for growth, but solid medias are important for the isolation part. Until and unless we do not have that is solid medias, the isolation is very difficult. We will not be able to isolate the pure cultures, we will not be able to isolate a single species from the media. So, that is why solidifying agent is always required, and solidifying agent is agar, which is added to the media. After that, agar is extracted from the group of red algae. We always extract them from the red algae, and it is a long chain polysaccharide, and it contains two fractions. Now, those two fractions are agropectin and agarose. Now, agarose is the main agent which is responsible for the solidification, and agropectin is a constituent which will provide the viscosity, to the preparation. So, that is why these two fractions are most important: agarose, which provides solidification, and agropectin, which will provide viscosity to your media. So, that is why agar is a agent which always solidify at room temperature, but it will become liquid if we heat it and to 100 degree centigrade. Then we have liquid, then we have agar in liquid form, and if we want to solidify, we have to keep it to the room temperature, then it will solidify the media. Agar is generally used in concentration of 1 to 2% as a solidifying agent. It is used as in smaller quantities. If we want to make our preparation semi solid, then we need to add them in the range of 0.05 to 5%. After that, preparation. Now, how we can prepare our media in the lab? There are various processes by which we can prepare, but first of all, I will like to tell all of you that why we need and how we can do the sterilization. Until and unless we are not able to prepare of a sterile media, sterile means that media must be free from microorganisms, that media must be free from any of the species which are present in the environment or in the air. We have to make our preparation sterile, and for sterilization we have two mechanisms. One is terminal sterilization, and second one is in process sterilization. And in the labs we generally go for in process sterilization, that we at each and every step we have to sterilize. We have to sterilize our glasswares, whatever glasswares we are using, we need to sterilize them. And how we can sterilize those glasswares? By using hot air oven. Mainly we have to take our whatever glassware in which we want to work, we have to take those glasswares, we have to wrap them in the aluminum foil, we have to cover the that is lid with the help of cotton plug we use to cover the openings of flasks, or openings of test tubes. So, after covering each and everything, each and every glasswares, we have to keep them in the hot air oven at a temperature of generally 160 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes. We keep the preparations, we keep the glasswares in a hot air oven at higher conditions of temperature, and for time period of minimum 30 minutes to maximum 2 hours we can keep, but that will depend upon the temperature conditions which we are using. If we are keeping for 60 degrees centigrade or 80 degrees centigrade, we have to keep for 2 hours, but if we are keeping for at higher temperatures, then the time can be reduced. Time and temperature go along with each other. If temperature is increased, we have to that is decrease the time period, and if time period is increased, we have to decrease the temperature. After that, we have to weigh all the ingredients, whatever ingredients we want to put, we want to prepare whatever nutrients have been mentioned to be added into the nutrient media. Second point, first you need to sterilize all the glasswares. Second, you need to weigh the ingredients within the aseptic environment. The environment must be aseptic, the environment must be free from microorganisms. Wherever we are working, that area must be sterile, that area must not have any dust particles, that area must not have any of the microbes. So, that is why all the area must be aseptic, where we are preparing those medias, because we have to make sterile media. After that is weighing all the ingredients, we have to add them into the distilled water. After we will dissolve all the ingredients within the distilled water, and if necessary we can filter it and we can adjust the pH depending upon the bacterial requirements, what pH they require. After that we will we will add the whole media which we have prepared by adding the raw materials, the nutrients into the distilled water. We will dissolve it, we will put it into the flask, cover the flask with the cotton plug, and after that we will wrap it with the aluminum foil. After wrapping it, the whole flask containing the media in the aluminum foil, we will put it into the autoclave, and in autoclave we have to set the pressure, we have to set the temperature conditions, we have to set the time. 3 parameters have to be controlled. First is pressure, second is temperature, and third one is time. We have to keep pressure 15 lb, we have to keep temperature 121 degree centigrade, and 15 minutes of time period 15 minutes. So, we will place our flask containing nutrient media into the, after covering it with the cotton plug and wrapping it with the aluminum foil, we have to keep it into the autoclave, and in autoclave that preparation will get sterilized. If there is any contamination occurs during the preparation time, then we can sterilize it by the autoclaving process, so that we get a media which is free from microorganisms. After that we have nutrient agar medium. Nutrient agar medium will be prepared on the same basis that we need to sterilize the grass fields, we need to weigh our ingredients, we need to add our ingredients into the distilled water, but along with that we need to add agar within that, and we have to heat the preparation on the water bath. We will keep our whole preparation on the water bath, and till all the ingredients get dissolved, we will heat it so that agar gets dissolved completely within the distilled water, and once agar is dissolved, again we will put them into the flask, we will filter it, we will adjust the pH, we will add cotton plug, we will wrap the preparation in the aluminum foil, and then place it in the sterilizers. Sterilization, that for sterilization in the autoclave at 15 lb pressure, temperature 120 degree centigrade, and time 15 minutes. So, how once we have sterilized, we have prepared our nutrient broth which is sterile in nature, which is in the sterilized form, then we will take out that preparation from the autoclave, we will take it to the laminar airflow where there is a aseptic environment, where there is no microorganism. There we prepare, we will make these type of tubes, we can make these type of slants, we can make these types of agar deep cultures, we can make these agar plates for the further use in the further experiments, like we can use them for the isolation purpose. So, that is why if we have nutrient broth, we have prepared a broth which is not having any of the agar, we are prepared liquid nutrient broth, then we will add it into the test tube. We will put it into the test tube, so that we can use that further nutrient media further for the growth of microorganism. We can, if we want to prepare the slants or stabs for the for the growth part, then we need to place we will tilt the test tubes at 60 degree angle, so that we get a slant. We must be able to increase the surface of area of the slant to enhance the isolation part, so that we can isolate the pure cultures on the surface. So, we need to enhance the surface. For enhancing the surface, either we can place them in a upright position, deep cultures we can prepare, or we can place them in at a 60 degree angle, so that surface area must be increased and we must be able to isolate our microorganisms. Similarly, Petri plates are also used to enhance the surface area. So, this is a way how we can enhance of the surface area of our solid media. Solid media means agar medium. If we want to use, we have to increase the surface area for isolation purpose. We have to put it into Petri plate, we have to create slants, we have to create stabs for that purpose, for the isolation purpose, using those nutrient solid agar mediums. So, these are the references which you can use, which you can follow for the growth or that is preparation of nutrient media, nutrient requirements what are there. So, these references can be followed. Thank you so much.